Welcome to the 2024 Economic Depression and Preparation Channel. Thank you for joining me here on this Sunday, July 28, 2024, the end of July here. As we're heading into August here, there is concern that the Federal Reserve Bank is going to be doing a rate cut as job growth moderates. It's according to Bloomberg.com. We've been waiting for this rate cut. Many senior economists and investors have been waiting for this rate cut for the last year or so, and now it may finally be upon us here as the economic data looks to be improving. So they might they want to think about lowering interest rates here. And what do you think? Do you think they're going to be lowering interest rates here by September and October? It's possible. There's a 45% chance or 50% chance that they will be doing that as a result of this so-called good economic news. As far as inflation going down, they believe, and that they also believe that the job growth is starting to slow down too as well. So that's going to be something to keep out with. The FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, is looking at doing that rate cut there. It's always interesting that they do rate cuts when things are supposedly going well. You would think, with everything going well, if the economy is really overheating, that they would be raising interest rates, but instead they're lowering interest rates. So that's kind of an oxymoron that we have with this new post-pandemic economy, whatever's left of the economy, guys. But this is what we have going on. So 10 states, according to CNBC, U.S. states are America's least prepared for climate change and extreme weather. Now, this is interesting because we have events like this. This is not considered a true black swan event, but ladies and gentlemen, if we have a major hurricane in the southeast or in Texas or whatever, and it comes through and causes major damage, a category 5, or we have major flooding in the Midwest, or we have fires out west that just ravage real big cities like LA for real, instead of just being up in the mountains somewhere, this is going to cost a lot of money. And these states budgets are only so much, and they're going to have to dip into their reserves and to the pension funds, and things can get really ugly really fast. So these are the states that are least prepared for climate change and extreme weather here. Maryland is at number 10. They'll be somewhat protected because they're close to DC and all the federal government contractors and all that. So I don't know about that. Delaware is number 9. Texas is number 8, number 9 too. They're tied. We saw what happened with Centerpoint in the grid in Houston, Texas, with some people there. New Hampshire's number 7, Pennsylvania's number 6, Ohio's number 5, Mississippi's number 4. They've had a lot of disasters like tornadoes last year in Rolling Fork and different places in Mississippi, and they've got disasters that cost a lot of money. Connecticut's number 3. They had a lot of snowstorms. Louisiana's number 1. Obviously, they've been struggling ever since Katrina. And the infrastructure is not all that. And New Jersey's number 1 too as well. Remember, they had Superstorm Sandy a long time ago in 2012, and it basically devastated a lot of communities up there on the shore and stuff like that. So those are the 10 states, the top 10 states, the least prepared for a climate change. They have to pay in addition to whatever else they're dealing with on the state and local level there. So the economy is slowing, but not in recession territory as pivotal election nears the 100-day mark. So we're coming in on 100 days before this big time election in the U.S. In 2024. And everybody in the media is painting it as if the economy is slowing down, but we're not in a recession yet. So by the time they call it in a recession, it's already too late. We've already been in a recession for a year or two, or maybe even longer. So I don't expect the media to come out and say that. They don't want to cause panic. They don't want to cause people to say, let me cut back on spending, because spending is 2/3 of the U.S. economy, as you know, and that's all spending, from by all people in all areas of the country. And so they already preempted us, saying the U.S. economy is likely to slow in the coming months, but it's not flashing recession signals yet. Well, that's because, whoever gets in office next is going to be the one that have to deal with it, a mess of an economy. And they're going to have to probably pass some bills, just like President Obama did when he had to pass the bank bill, bailout bill, $787 million TARP bill. And then President Bush had to pass a couple of bills, a stimulus bill to help this economy. So it was really after the next year after this election, that's when things are going to go downhill. And that's when these presidents will have to pass more bills, which are going to raise the inflation rate back up again. And that's where the Federal Reserve is going to be at a standstill, because they've already lowered rates to 0. Now they're trying to lower it back to 0 and start this QE. But problem is that the economy, it's just bad. It's just not going as well as we thought it would go. For a lot of people, some people are making money. Not everybody is doom and gloom. I agree. Yes, not everybody is struggling. But the 10%. The 10% or 5% of people that's making all this money, they can't carry the 85 or 90% of people who are struggling, working 2 or 3 jobs, or doing whatever to try to survive in that economy. Well, it's just not enough jobs for 160 million eligible Americans that need to be able to work, and not counting those who are here and not here, legally or whatever. So that's a lot of people you have to put into full employment that we're just not going to have in full employment. So BNN Bloomberg had this thing about how a year Fed high rates have affected the U.S. economy. You guys already know, ladies and gentlemen, food and energy prices are through the roof here. The PCE index is through the roof. Utilities, transportation costs to get stuff around the country, and whether it be trucks or train, has gone up tremendously. The shipping ports were hurt by the Key Bridge closure in Baltimore and other ports that were struggling, and Long Beach that were on strike earlier this year in California. So things have really hurt, and obviously it's put a dent on this economy. But the thing that has put a dent in this economy most is the housing. The housing prices of rents are out of control in some of these states, and housing prices are out of control. And that's just not going to help when you're trying to talk about a growing economy. You need people working, you need people paying bills and paying back into the economy for there even to be an economy. Like you said, what kind of economy are you going to have when you don't have anybody working and paying into it, or even having any money, disposable income left after paying bills and responsibilities? And so this is the kind of economy that we're in. A lot of people are cutting back on expenses, not just food and utilities and security, but a lot of people are cutting back on expenses like travel and all the stuff that the media is painting. Every year they come out with the same report saying that, oh, this is the busiest July the 4th, this is the busiest travel season. I don't think so. I mean, people are traveling for essentials, necessities, family travel, stuff like that, but nothing too crazy. And it's been happening out here in these major airports. So this has been the report for this morning. Continue to prepare. Thank you for joining me here. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.